bumabagsak ang ekonomiya, paano namin mapapakain ang aming mga pamilya?
Negosyo o kalayaan, bayan o sarili, pumili ka!
Mga kapatid, mayroon tayong mas malaking kaaway kaysa mga Amerikano. Ang ating sarili.
Good morning, everyone. I, together with my groupmates, let me introduce Miss Bordador, Miss Bonifacio, Miss Cruz, Miss Lebuntog, and Miss Salazar. We are assigned to pick one of the heritage sites here in Manila, and we decided to choose the Sinilangang Pook ni General Antonio Luna, or also known as the abandoned house of General Antonio Luna today. Before we proceed to the abandoned house, Miss Bordador will tell you a brief background who is General Antonio Luna.
Antonio Narciso Luna de San Pedro y Novicio Ancheta was a Filipino army who fought in the Philippine-American War. He was born on October 29, 1866 in Binondo, Manila. That we will be discussing in detail later on. His background education, he took a Bachelor of Arts from Ateneo de Manila. He is the youngest child of Lorena Novicio Ancheta and Joaquin Luna San Pedro. He is known as the Filipino journalist, musician, pharmacist, and chemist, but suddenly died by assassinated by soldier from his own army on June 5, 1899.
Old House is actually the birthplace of General Antonio Luna. Unfortunately, just like other historical houses in our country, General Antonio Luna's birthplace is in great disrepair. So the house looks bad on the outside, but I shuddered to think how worse it on the inside. I watched the news about the abandoned house, and they said that the inside is already a bodega and no rooms. Those pictures are from us. We visited last week the abandoned house of General Antonio Luna, so we can see that house in real life. Another sad factor is that the front of General Luna's birthplace became a tambakan, parking lot, and even sleeping place of Binondo's homeless. So let me show you the before and after of the abandoned house of General Antonio Luna.
It is decided that our objective would be first, to preserve unique structure, second, to preserve the site history, and lastly, to promote conservation, restoration, and rehabilitation. Our statement of the problem is, first, the government doesn't have funds to buy the historical place. Second, the front house of General Luna's became tambakan, parking lot, or even a sleeping place of Binondo homeless. And lastly, the house roof is about to fall off, and the windows have missing copy shelves. Our statement of the problem is a typical problem of historical place. But our first statement of the problem is the government doesn't have funds to buy the historical place is not a typical one. This place is a private property and owned by a Chinese. The owner is willing to sell it, but the government answered no funds available.
Good afternoon po. Pwede po ba namin malaman kung ano pong pangalan niyo po?
Elpidio Donato,
Ilang taon na po kayo?
78.
Gano'n na po kayo katagal dito sa
Since 1963,
619?
I graduated elementary from Pangasinan. Dito na ako nag-high school.
Apo. Nagkaroon po ba kayo ng katungkulan po dito sa lugar na po?
Dati, yan yung may bakanting lote dyan.
Apo.
Meron kaming security agency. Ako ang operator. Tapos, naging barangay chairman ako dito. Hanggang ngayon kagawad.
Okay. Pwede po ba kayo mag-share po sa amin ng konting story po or background po about po sa General Luna building?
Yung bahay na yan.
Apo.
Yan na lang inabutan ko naman dyan na ganyan. Meron naman historical marker doon. Yan nung dumating ako dito, yung Chinese inabutan ko may-ari niyan, hindi naman mga Luna, hindi naman. Chinese, hanggang ngayon, yung Tatay namatay na, yung anak ngayon na panganay, silang nagmamayari ngayon yan. Lorenzo Tan, ang balita ko pinsang buo yan ni Lucio Tan.
We interview Mr. Elpidio Donato. He's currently a kagawad in Orbis Tondo and the caretaker of the Sinlangan ng Pook in Antonio General Luna and was a former security operator and barangay chairman in Orbis Tondo, Binondo, Maynila. Mr. Elpidio is 78 years old. According to Mr. Elpidio, when he arrived at the barangay in 1963, the Silangan ng Pook ni Antonio General Luna was owned by a Chinese until now, and it was one of the cousins of Dr. Lucio Tan, which is Mr. Lorenzo Tan. However, since the house is a private property, Lorenzo Tan, the Filipino-Chinese who owned the house, said that he is willing to sell it to the government for 100 million pesos. But he received this answer: no funds available.
Ayan, maihahalintulad natin siya sa Global Code of Ethics, Article 1, Number 1. This highlights an important role, which is treating everybody with respect. Just like what we did when we went to pay a visit to the site, dahil hindi kami maaaring mag-enter inside, we just stayed there behind the barricade and followed to pay respect to the site and to the people who values it. Article number 4 states that tourists aren't just consumers but also contributors to the enhancement of the heritage sites. For example, we, the reporters, contributed by physically visiting the site and interviewed some local residents to understand more about the history and cultural importance of the birthplace of Antonio Luna. And by personally knowing the facts, we can spread awareness and knowledge to our future generations.
Mayor Lim wants to enter, but even though he is a mayor that time, Mr. Lorenzo Tan did not allow Mayor Lim to enter the premises. Under the National Cultural Heritage Act of 2009, kailangan ng abiso sa may-ari kung papapasukin o bibisitahin yung isang cultural property. Pero may batas din na may responsibilidad yung may-ari na pangalagaan yung lugar, may kakayahan din yung gobyerno na obligahin yung may-ari na ayusin yung istruktura. Kapag hindi siya nagawa sa loob ng 30 to 40 days, yung cultural agency na yung mag-aayos nito.
Historical value. The exact address of this house is 840 or Bistondo Street, Binondo, Manila, was General Antonio Luna's birthplace. He is known of his work of La Solidaridad. This was erected in 1967 by National Historical Commission, and this house was owned by a businessman, and that is Lorenzo Tan, na pinamana sa kanya ng tatay niya.
Student advocate for the promotion and preservation of the historical value of heritage places through various means. The student emphasized the importance of preservation and conservation, community involvement, supporting indigenous rights, and promoting sustainable tourism. Additionally, they recommend collaboration with the local authorities and organizing communities events to engage and encourage local in protecting heritage sites. Students proposed a resilient framework involving research, community engagement, and international cooperation to ensure the enduring legacy of our shared heritage.
To conclude this, ensuring the preservation of a site is important for maintaining the continuity of our cultural narrative and national identity. It becomes a bridge connecting past and present through time that can be passed to our future generations.
It's very sad how the birthplace of General Luna ended up looking like it has no historical value at all. It became a parking lot, a tambakan, and even a sleeping place of Binondo's homeless people. We also witnessed this kind of situation when we arrived there. General Luna is one of our Philippine hero. Even Americans respected him, and after all, keeping the old house in its miserable situation is not a good way to honor him.
And here is the end part of our presentation. Thank you for listening, and we highly appreciate your active participation. Thank you.